right, guys. It looks like we're getting started.
We got round one with Brian Bell on Black Saga Storm and Ninjas by Devin Fong. I'll be one of your broadcasters today. My name is Michael Corson
and I am Scott McCarty. And welcome to the Legacy 1K.
at TCS Rockets. Looks
Oh.
like they're getting shuffled up, but don't see if we determined who's going first. This should be a pretty interesting matchup considering Storm's goal is to go off before their opponent can kill them.
And or before you get Eureka'd into Oblivion.
Looks like Devin's Ninja List is also playing some spicy stuff, like Bowmaster. See how that plays into Saga Storm. Saga Storm does have bobble triggers and what other draw? Bobble triggers is about the main one I can think of besides Echo Bayons.
Yeah, they're not mainboarding here, which would end up being a problem. Devin looks like he's got Basic Island Ponder turn 1, so that's a keep.
Brian's starting us off with the Duress. That's really good, turn 1.
Oh,
Okay, that's a
okay.
Daze. That's a really good Duress. It's either going to be... Yep. Oh,
No, you can't.
yeah, Daze are the brainstorm. He takes the brainstorm. Interesting.
I think that's okay. Ponder.
Devin's not showing a fetch, so I wonder why he wouldn't take Ponder. Oh, he's still deciding. He asked what it was.
I see.
Because of
the
the Strixhaven already asked what it. Okay, taking Ponder.
Yeah,
that's correct. That's
makes
pretty
sense.
good.
That makes sense.
It's a really good opening
I like
turn.
that. I didn't see Brian's hand. I
I
did see
seen
the Saga.
Yeah, I seen a Saga, and I want to say I seen a Burning Wish. Could be wrong, but I think that's what the card in his hand was a Burning Wish. There's Lion's Eye Diamond. So Saga Lion's Eye Diamond.
Yeah, get in.
Living Wish
before...
Cabal Therapy, and I
that's
can't
a
see
good
the
hand.
other card.
That's a good hand. So, yeah, no Burning Wish. He plays a 1-of in the main.
Devin starts us off with Basic Island
Ooh,
Ornithopter.
he casts Ornithopter before land drop.
Interesting. It's a Chromox. Or not Chromox, Mox Opal. That's really good.
Yeah, not
It's a
quite
ritual.
good yet. So
yeah, that's a ritual, an Infernal Tutor, a Cabal Therapy, an Urza Saga, and a Mox Opal. That's not a bad hand.
So
Ooh, that's a Wasteland in Devin's hand, and he just played Urza Saga.
oh, he top decks Wasteland. That's good.
Yeah, it's huge.
I think at this point you can Dark Grit. Wait a minute. He may want to get his Mox Opal. He's got some time. The Wasteland's going to be a problem, but he can go now. Yeah.
Ooh, he's
Yeah.
Ritual.
Yeah. I'm okay with this.
Devin Days, or yeah, Days isn't.
Yeah.
I mean,
The
Days,
problem is, okay, there we go. That's not bad.
I think he still might Daze it.
Okay, not good.
No,
brainstorm.
I still think this is worth dazing so that he has forced to use the Saga.
I think I do like that.
Yeah. I don't mind him putting back both those murderous cuts even though he brainstorm locked himself, which sucks. But that Wasteland's pretty big. I think this game was over if Devin didn't draw that Wasteland. It still might be over, but that Wasteland's pretty good.
So he's
No, he didn't daze.
It's okay. I think that even if you don't daze, what you're hoping is, because for one thing, Brian could be on an Urza Saga plan and playing Dark Grit to falsely tell Devin that he's going. Okay. I wonder if he just names Daze or if he gets Bowmaster out of hand.
I don't think he cares about Bowmaster unless he's gonna go. Oh, he doesn't want to show. He doesn't want to show his hand.
Well, he did get dressed. So the idea of
Devin didn't know he was brainstorm locked though. So if Brian named Wasteland, then the game was over.
well, he had Prismatic Vista in hand, but interesting.
Yeah, but you have to skip a whole turn, and he has a Saga. If he names Wasteland, the Saga's got a construct, and he gets the fetch. So I think that's what Brian probably named was Wasteland, like end of the blind. Because if Brian protects this, there's a Saga.
Well, no, so he can't name Wasteland, but I see what you're saying. But I guess I guess the question is that what does Devin lose, or what does Devin gain actually by scooping there?
Does Brian actually know what he's on? I mean, Ornithopter should tell him, but he's seen Ornithopter Bowmaster. I mean, I would think with Ornithopter I would suspect ninjas, but
Yeah,
maybe that's what Devin was doing to make
maybe.
sure Brian didn't know what he was on.
I didn't see something spicy off that brainstorm in regards to
No, it
trying
was
to hide.
Ingenious Ninja
And I guess scooping
Infiltrator.
to get to sideboard, get to be on the play, and knowing that he's in a tough spot at that moment is fine.
Yeah, I think that Brainstorm was for sure an Ingenious Infiltrator and another Murderous Cut. What was it? There's another card
Yeah.
he drew too.
No, it was two murderous cuts. I
Two
saw.
Murderous Cuts and Ingenious
So I think
Infiltrator.
that but knowing he's playing against Brian and seeing LED, seeing Dark Rit, we're not going to time, type of thing.
Yeah.
You can be on Nerds of Saga plan and pump out constructs, but still that means game is going to be over quickly anyways with huge constructs.
I think Devin did it out of respect, but he may have scooped early because he wasn't
Maybe.
dead.
So he's taking out pushes, or murders cuts.
I don't hate that.
Yes. The only thing is that that's the beauty of this Black Saga Storm is that, if Devin drops a null rod or he's forced up in his hand to where he's got 3 forces, a fluster storm, then it's like fine. I'm on an Urza Saga plan. I'm coming in with 7/7s.
Yeah.
Even though my artifacts are not active, I've got 7/7s that are coming in.
You have to think though, most of the time you're making the constructs, you're gonna land 2 of them if that's your plan. Murderous Cut's really expensive even delving. So Devin's not gonna be able, he has to have multiple forms of removal. Maybe he just feels like, I think he maybe put Fatal Pushes in. Does he have Fatal Push?
So
I'm not.
main. So he has 3 pushes
main.
main. He has 2 murderous cuts.
Maybe he
main.
took out
I think he took out his removal. I think he
2
took out the
cuts.
5. I think I saw him take out all of his removal. Which, if Brian wants to stay on the storm plan, then great. But that's the problem with the fact that they've incorporated Urza Saga into a storm deck. Not only does it get you to an LED or sometimes a Mox Opal if you need it, but the idea of being on an alternate win con that is immune to everything that you board in against Storm.
I kind of like Devin's hand if he doesn't mulligan. He has double Ornithopter, Yuriko, Changeling Outcast, Ponder, and 2 lands. I kind of like that. He could Ponder into a Brainstorm and then, or not Brainstorm, a Force, and it would have been a really aggressive hand. But Devin's feeling like he needs some form of counter magic.
Yeah.
But, I mean, it is a risk you take when you keep a hand like that and you ponder and you whiff. So maybe that's what Devin's trying to think. I just like the aggressiveness of being able to hit that Yuriko as soon as possible. Brian kept a 7, and it looks like Vault of Whispers.
Traders, Swamp, Wishclaw,
yeah.
Mox
Mox
Opal.
Opal.
So he's got a slow mana building type of hand.
Devin starts us off with a Vista and a Changeling Outcast. Basic Swamp Fetch off the Vista.
All right, so now we're telling Brian we don't have days up.
Yep. But, I mean, I didn't see another land in his hand.
Right, so he draws Ad Nos, which is not necessarily what you want to be drawing in a LED deck with Wishclaw. Typically, you want to be dropping LEDs. You want to be Wishclawing in response, crack your LEDs, finding Ad Nos, and then casting Ad Nos. So drawing Ad Nos never feels good, especially in a potential Thoughtseize against a Thoughtseize deck, which remind me if Devin is playing.
I'm not seeing Thoughtseize or Duress.
It's fine. Yeah,
I don't hate it.
But
I do like the Flusters. Devin's playing 2 Flusters in the sideboard.
Yeah, I love Flusters.
And a Force Negation in the sideboard. I kind of like that. Main board's just 4 Forces and 3 Dazes. I mean, that is a lot of counter magic.
Mm-hmm.
Getting Thoughtseize there for Bowmaster is pretty rough. Double Wasteland is disgusting. That's not too bad. So Devin was basically trying to just stick behind the Bowmaster, which he's gonna get still. Um, I don't hate that Brian took the Ingenious Infiltrator, so he doesn't get buried by card advantage. But Devin's still a
I
little ways
agree.
from ninjutsuing
I
that.
agree. I think Brian is telling us that yeah, you can have your Bowmaster. Um,
Brian's also, if you look at his list, not drawing a bunch of cards main board. He has Mishra's Baubles, but there's only 2 of them. Or 4 Mishra's Bauble, I'm sorry, and 2 Urza's Baubles. So you can kind of play around Bowmaster with your artifacts. But maybe he also isn't gonna just crack those with draw. He's gonna use them for the Saga.
Brian draws tendrils.
Oh,
These
that's
are
really
bad draws
bad.
for Brian. But Devin is not. His mold of 6 was not good, unfortunately.
Yeah, I think he
And-
stayed on it for the
Oh,
wasteland.
oh,
That feels bad.
poor Devin.
Yeah.
We love you, Devin. But that is harsh.
I mean, it's harsh on both sides of this table. Brian's got cards in his
But
hand that he would rather not be there.
But he is just 100%.
On the flip side, though, drawing tendrils is not as bad because he already has the ad nauseum in hand, so he's not risking taking 4 to being able to ad nauseum through it.
True.
With the City of Traders, that's not horrible. And he's got an Ancient Tomb, that's not horrible, but he needs double black. So he's gonna have to waste the Chrome or the Mox Opal. Using the Mox Opal to cast that ad naus doesn't feel the greatest when you need to maybe be able to do it to Wish for the red. So you'd have to hit another Opal. He plays Wish Claw. I don't hate that.
Yeah, it's his only play, really.
Yeah.
And he doesn't use
Devin draws Daze, and Daze is not really relevant yet. That feels pretty bad. I would waste the city too, Devin. That's a good play.
Yeah, he doesn't know what's in.
Choke him off mana. Devin also has a Force in hand, which is really good. We missed that drop.
Okay, so this game is probably... We burned 2 Wastelands, and then he top decks Urza Saga, which Brian would have slow played the Urza Saga anyways, knowing that Devin had 2 Wastelands.
Yeah, that's true, which is probably why he forced the City of Traders. Devin drew Force, though, and a Daze, and is it 2 Dazes? I couldn't tell. It looked like Force Daze blue card. That's pretty good.
Ugh.
Devin really just... I hope he didn't bore out Fatal Pushes, seeing Urza Saga. That's so rough.
I think the pushes cuts, but at the same time, if you're shoring up, because Wasteland, if you understand the fact that, okay, Scott, I know that constructs are coming in at 7/7s, but if you are on the I'm holding my Wastelands for the Urza Sagas and I don't need my pushes and I don't need my murderous cuts, then that's fine too.
Devin does have a main board Brazen Borrower, which could be really huge if Brian only makes 1 construct, especially sitting behind Force with Pitch.
Oh yeah, you definitely have to play 2.
There's the Ancient Tomb.
Turn.
Brian could add Nas. I think he might add Nas.
Wait, really?
Yeah, I don't... Oh, he's gonna Wish Claw. I don't hate that.
Okay, interesting.
I don't hate that, but that does give Devin a piece of blue mana. Because he could just go get...
Yeah, go get blue.
I didn't see what Brian grabs. We'll see in a second when he picks his hand up. I doubt his turn is over passing that Wish Claw.
You know what? I love, Brian is such a good Storm player.
He is.
And I love the fact that when you see a good player, now granted, I don't know if that speaks more to my playstyle, but or inability to see the line.
Looks like he grabbed a Dark Ritual.
But he's going for it. Interesting.
He also has another Chromox in hand, or not Chromox, Mox Opal in hand, which is really big. Because if he resolves this Adnaz, Devin's looking at that Mox Opal like, I'll just go on what he puts on an Opal, and then Brian could just drop another Opal. So there's the Adnaz. Devin just immediately force pitches.
Yeah.
And I don't hate it.
So, but going back to what I was saying is that,
if Devin
Brian is so good at seeing these lines, we're gonna see if that ends up being.
If Devin is correct here, I think I would have got, even though the blue source is really good, I think I would have slammed that for the 3rd Wasteland in his deck to get rid of that Saga before Brian gets a turn to go into his deck. Because Brian got the Wish Call back, so Brian can float a mana with the Saga, activate the Wish Call again, and go get another Ad Nauseam. Devin does have another Daze in hand, but looks
but
like
he's got Brainstorm.
Brian.
So,
Yeah.
So actually, that's not too bad. I see what you're saying, but man, if he could have, it would have been nice to have no Rod give back your Wish Claw.
I agree.
That
is a pretty big brainstorm. He hit the murder. Oh, he put it back. Why are you putting Murder's Cut back?
Well, actually,
because he could have delved to kill this construct if Brian kills the construct.
He'll get the Murderous Cut.
Yeah. I guess it doesn't matter because it's Summoning Sickness.
It doesn't. Yeah. So
we'll see what he does.
So Brian is actually a tad behind now.
Yeah, I agree with you.
We did go for the Adnaz, unfortunately, or fortunately for Devin. Devin had the Force of Will.
So Brian did float a mana, which means he's more than likely going to activate that Wish Claw.
He is still on the I am going
for a route.
Going for the Storm route as opposed to
there's Saga route. I think that's correct with how much mana you have, knowing that Devin already used a Force and a Daze Pitch. Because if Devin has Force Pitch card here, he has no cards in hand, and Brian is in a better top deck route than him because of having all of the mana and the LED.
Yeah,
it's like I don't hate it.
Well, having Outcast out and then having a Ninja to back it up when you're at 9,
it's pretty rough.
So maybe that's what. Oh, so actually that's a good thought. So Brian not wanting to be on the construct plan. Outbursts are unblockable.
Correct.
And he is worried about the idea that I have to be on the Storm plan because I'm going to Outcast. I can't stop Outcast. The Outcast ends up being an issue. Like a 1/1 first, turn 1 drop. Sometimes it's kind of like, so what? No big deal. But man, if you get that going with Yuriko, you get that with Infiltrator, and then you drop it again, it ends up being really tough to deal with. And so I wonder if Brian is of that thought process that actually I have to be against ninjas. I have to be on a Storm type of plan.
So this is really interesting. Brian's already cast his only Ad Nauseam in the main deck, and he doesn't have one on the sideboard. No Peer into the Abyss.
So Echo. So I think he's going to be on Wish Claw to find Burning Wish
into Echo.
But the problem is, so we have LED. He floats a red for burn. Oh, okay. So he's floating a red for Burning Wish. That makes sense. With the Mox Opal, play the Mox Opal again.
Correct.
He probably cast.
He has to crack for blue.
For blue, right? That's what we got to do. He's not on Bowmaster mana, so Devin is not on Bowmaster mana, so that helps us out.
Correct.
To where
you can just freely echo. The only issue is when you echo, you have to end the game because Devin will have a full hand with that mana base and a Changeling Outcast.
So Days Undoing, you end the turn. Echo, he still has
the turn. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah. Oh, right.
So when he gets a full set of 7, then he's more than likely going to need to immediately end the game, or Devin is going to have a lot of gas. Having a Changeling Outcast, 3 mana, a blue source.
Yeah, he has to win. Echo. You're right.
So here goes to 2 black. So he has 3 colorless, 2 black, and a red in his pool. He goes to 7.
So the colorless.
He spins the 2 colorless and a blue. Oh, cast tendrils.
Okay, mini tendrils. Okay.
I don't hate this. I think he's doing it.
I like this. Now, unfortunately, this is if Devin has Days, which he does. Brian has perfect mana to crack Wish Claw, Burning Wish, and then crack LED for Echo, which is going to end up getting Days.
Correct.
So that's the only unfortunate thing about this is that the baby tendrils at this point, even though it buys us turns, sets us up to get Days, I think, is what Brian's saying. Now, Brian, please prove me wrong here.
I don't think Brian is expecting Devin to have another Days.
All right, so Devin has a dead Wish Claw.
I really don't think Brian.
We didn't crack LED. Oh, we didn't crack.
No.
Oh, he can cast it. That's right. He can cast it and then crack. Okay.
Correct.
It doesn't matter.
No, it doesn't. Because if he does it, he will crack and save anyways.
It does tell Devin maybe what we're doing.
Yeah.
Because if he cracks LED at that moment.
Yeah. Crash Burning Wish.
So
Brian's doing this to play around Days because he's gonna Burning Wish it.
So he doesn't. He leaves LED.
Correct, because he's gonna put it in his hand.
Oh, that's so smart.
Yeah, so that he can just crack on the next turn. Oh, is he doing it
Oh,
now?
he is doing it.
Oh, now he gets days. If he would have waited.
I'm sorry, Brian. I'm
Yeah.
sorry, Brian. Let's go to game 3.
Yeah, so I think if Brian would have just
Ugh.
held the Echo in hand and played that Devin didn't have, like, hand disruption, he would have been okay.
We
Because he
lose
comes a turn, and then does it and can pay for days.
But isn't that so funny how you lose your storm count if we do it now, as opposed to next turn. Yeah.
Devin and that smirk.
I
Look
love
at
it. We love you, Devin, and we love you too, Brian. But the idea of losing your storm count, you are willing to play into days.
Yeah, because Storm would have been 4.
And not lose your storm count.
Yeah, Storm would have been 4.
That's heartbreaking.
He does have another Tendrils sideboard. However, Burning Wish does get shuffled back into the deck with Echo Vaons. So that would have been the route if we echoed, is to attempt to reapproach.
We exile Burning Wish, right?
Does it exile? Yeah, it does exile. You're right.
So
I'm not sure how his win was there.
Yeah, but
the ad nauseum again, because the ad nauseum gets shuffled back in.
He can wish call back into
the ad nauseum.
Tendrils ad nauseum, yeah. But
that's unfortunate for Brian to.
I'll tell you what.
Days.
But yeah, Brian played that really well.
He did.
Devin, on the mulligan to 6 and didn't draw very hot, but then as the game went on, Devin got what he needed. I think Devin is actually learning from the fact of, I do need to go back to maybe, let's see what he ends up re-sideboarding. Oh, he doesn't. Okay, so on the draw, he doesn't like the Outcast.
They're a little slow. I kind of agree with that.
Okay.
Cost some mana, whereas Ornithopter costs 0.
Right.
For the same kind of concept with being able to bring stuff back in on the draw. I kind of like it.
So I think on
I hope he boarded Null Rod. Null Rod would be so good into Brian with the Moxes because it shuts him off the colored sources.
You know what? I would have brought in Plague Engineer thinking that Empty the Warrens is a possibility. But Devin is not, and it just so happens Brian is not playing Empty the Warrens.
Yeah.
So that ends up being correct.
So the reason why Brian's deck is called Black Saga Storm is because the only way his colored mana sources, or his mana sources that are colored are coming from, are all artifacts.
Yeah.
Brian's actual mana base is Ancient Tomb, City of Trader Swamps, Urza Saga, Vault of Whispers. So there's no actual colored sources, which is where the deck name comes from.
Right.
Which is a really unique and cool deck. I really like this Saga deck. It's sweet.
I do too. Yeah, I really like it.
We haven't really got to see Bowmaster do much, but Bowmaster's a pretty impactful card in Legacy. Devin hasn't really got to do much with it, but I'm sure throughout this day we'll get to see how gross it is into this format.
Man, I'm loving Bowmaster in regards to opening up mid-range, opening up Grixis again.
Solidifying mono black.
We're probably gonna get into me complaining a little bit about the One Ring as we go through the day, especially if certain people are on stream, but it's still manageable. Lord of the Rings expansion has
I think the Bowmaster brings some validation to some archetypes that come and go, like mono black, whether it be like Helm combo, the popular 2-card Monty combo where it's several 2-card combos of mono black in the same deck. Bowmaster just kind of smooths those decks over as a form of defense and another form of closing games by just amassing the orcs to swing.
Yeah. Now Devin is putting in his Leyline of the Voids. Now I think that assuming that we're still playing Past in Flames in a mono black Saga Storm, which you can, but tend to not. You tend to want to keep just a Burning Wish up in the main. Leyline of the Void sounds good. The other thought process is that if you Leyline of the Void, you counter up, let's say like Brian did. He drew into Adnos. He drew into Tendrils. If you end up to countering Adnos or Tendrils in the face of an Echo of the Eons deck, that you exile his Adnaz, his Tendrils, with Echo of Eons unable to get it back.
So Devin doesn't know this, but Brian does, because Brian plays Moto with this deck immensely. Brian is a very good pilot of this deck, and sideboards wish targets like Feed the Swarm, Haywire Might, even Surge Nodes. Surge Nodes isn't exactly the greatest thing into Leyline of the Binding, or Leyline of the Void, because it takes forever to get that many charge counters on it. But the Haywire Might and the Feed the Swarm, if Brian's going for the win, is really, really good. So I'm not convinced that Leyline of the Void is amazing here. Devin seems to have just drawn it. I'm not sure if he keeps his hand with just the... Yeah, he puts it back with just the Wasteland, but I think Leyline of the Void, when you see the Echo of Aeons lines, I think it's a bait to have that boarded in, and you could get punished for that.
Yeah.
Because Brian's deck pivots very well. It's one of the more resilient Storm decks, which is why it's so cool.
And it is completely okay if your opponent is messing with your graveyard. It's just, he does not mind.
Devin's mulligans, though, have not been great. I feel pretty awful for him. His draws,
not good.
Not good.
Oh, I hope he draws into his second land.
Yeah, that Bowmaster's gonna be
Now,
pretty sweet if he does.
Oh, we don't have a payoff yet. Brian has a good turn 1, but we don't have a payoff.
Having a turn 1 Mox Opal online is pretty good. Also knowing what your opponent's drawing, well, you get to decide. Yeah, there goes the Thoughtseize.
The hand now.
Yep. So there goes the Bowmaster.
Well, I don't know. So
or the Borrower. Are you really concerned about the Thopter with one one land?
I'm okay with Borrower. Ornithopter and Bowmaster or what ends up killing us.
I really like how Brian also prioritized Thoughtseize over Duress here. Knowing that Devin mulled down, Duress could have whiffed here, and that would have been really backbreaking.
Yeah, so there's no reason to Duress in this turn. Also, Brian gets an extra draw.
Well, you have to think he kept Void. What are the odds that there's a Daze or a Force in his hand? Right?
Yeah.
So that might, because you're not just going to keep the hand off Leyline of the Void. At least Brian's going to assume he's not.
Yeah.
So I really like that he just said, no, I'm going to stick to the Thoughtseize plan to make sure.
Well, or he's like, so if you mulligan down to 5, he probably has either the Silver Bullet against my deck, or he has a win con in his hand, and I'm just going to turn 1 Thoughtseize and take away that win con.
Oh, that was a really big draw off the Bobble Trigger. It's a Lotus Petal. Brian has Ancient Tomb, Wish Call Talisman, Duress, Lotus Petal, and I want to say Dark Ritual.
Yeah, this is tough.
That's a pretty folded hand.
Game 2, we also said that Devin's in a really tough spot too, but ended up going okay for Devin.
We did.
But yeah,
it's not good.
Again, not looking good.
Didn't really see what Devin drew. I was more focused on what Brian drew because it kind of surprised me how good his hand is right now. He has 5 mana, so I think he would more than likely just play this Wish Call Talisman and pass, or does he go for it with the Dark Ritual?
I like the idea of going for it right now. Duress tells us what the dead card is in hand.
Does he have enough mana to do everything, though, is the question?
Oh, no, we can't. So, yeah, playing Wish...
So you can Dark Ritual,
pass.
You can Dark Ritual,
Wish Call pass.
And you can do Wish Call Search, but then you're only left with 1, 2, 3, 4 mana. That's, I mean, you're not really finishing the turn with that.
I like Wish Call pass.
Ooh, is he just playing Wish Call Pass?
Yeah.
I really like that too. I like how he doesn't feel the need to give it immediately up either, because he's not really afraid of what's in Devin's hand. Yeah,
he wants to see what the next draw is going to be for Devin off the Duress, and then he's able to go ahead, Dark Rit, find Adnaz, and
that's a fetch for a Watery Grave.
Move to round 2.
What are Devin's strong outs here? Devin does play Opposition Agent out of the sideboard, but I'm not seeing any way to burst it out.
So I didn't see what Devin drew last turn, but
I didn't either. So Devin drew a Swamp last turn because the other card he just put down.
So
we just didn't see what he drew for this turn.
So we've got Orc.
Devin's trying to decide if he wants the Brazen Bar or the Wish Claw. I don't hate that because it makes Brian have to spend another turn, but it's also showing that you don't have a lot going on.
I kind of feel like I probably would have cited out the Brazen Borrower. I don't know really what it is.
I'm gonna have to disagree with that.
I'm
gonna have to disagree with the citing out the borrower because of the Urza Saga route, right?
Yeah.
If you're playing, I'm sure Devin board and Flusters. If you're playing on the stop the storm route and then Brian pivots into the construct route, being able to borrow that construct is pretty big, and then cats borrow and swing.
That's fine. But that also goes with the mindset of the removal. Brazen Borrower is more or less a removal type spell.
I'll agree with that. It's pretty sweet.
And I do like the idea of it is less mana intensive than Murderous Cut and Push. Only by one, but still.
But you are right. In a storm mana, those situations come up very frequently.
End up
matter.
End up mattering.
Mana management matters against storm too much. So Devin passes the turn.
Yeah, we definitely. I don't know what.
Brian draws another wish call. That's kind of gross.
Jeez. Brian, we wish we were as good as you.
Yeah, we wish we had that draw power. So my question is, I wonder if he's gonna duress.
Yeah, we just duress.
Or do you Dark Ritual into duress?
Yeah, we duress. I want to see that third card.
It's another Bowmaster. That shows Brian a lot. So now the question is, what is Brian's route for ending the game? So here goes Dark Ritual. Storm count 2 with 3 black. So he has 3 back, a Lotus Petal, and an Ancient Tomb.
FYI, shout out on the beta Dark Rit.
It's pretty hot.
Pretty awesome.
I believe he got that in Oakland.
Yeah, Devin is F6. Yeah, he did.
So here goes 2 colorless.
Oh, I shouldn't say F6. So the Orc ends up being maybe somewhat relevant, but
I honestly don't think Brian's gonna go that route. I think he's gonna go.
Devin has nothing else to do.
I think he's gonna go get Adnaz.
Oh yeah. Man, if Devin had Null Rod early,
because he has exactly Adnaz mana with the pedal.
Oh yeah, we definitely.
So Brian is at 16, which is a pretty healthy life total. He still could whiff off this Adnaz, but that's not in his favor to whiff.
We're effectively at 15 because of Bowmaster, ETB. Whether if we do end up drawing more cards, I don't think that's going to be the case. I think that we are just going to. Sorry. I guess we are going to be going to...
Yeah, so having spoken to Brian about this deck and Adnaz lines and Legacy and where your starting and stopping point is for safe, Brian's usually among the opinion that starting above 10 is usually in his favor to end the game. I really 15. Like the... Whew. I love the Bowmaster, though. Devin's doing it to point the damage of Brian, which he should be at 15.
We are, yeah. So now we're at 13.
So we're at 13, 12.
Oh, man.
10. This is a really good Adnaz. Oh, my goodness.
Oh, Devin.
Another Wish Claw, so that's 8.
Not? Yeah, why not?
He can keep going. Is it 8? 6, 5. We're almost to stopping point. 4, I think we stop here.
We are super dead.
So we stop here for the fact that he could just hit tendrils and die. He wanted to... I mean, you can go all the way to 4 with this, or if you hit slightly under 4, you stop. So this is pretty gross. Storm count's already 4. We're going to have a Lion's Eye Diamond, a Petal, a Baubles.
We're super dead.
Yeah, way big dead. That's unfortunate for Devin.
Yeah, Devin, unfortunately, the... mulligans, that was really tough on Devin. He didn't really, besides
he also mulled the 5 game too. Brian had both Brian had both duress and Thoughtseize. So on a mold of 5, Thoughtseize and duress is really, really rough.
Yes.
especially when Brian had absolute gas. Like that was for
Yeah.
I think did he mold a 6 or did he keep a 7?
I forget. I think I was too traumatized
I
by
was
Devin.
too.
So yeah, so I think that, Devin had a rough go in regards to the mulligans. Brian, game two, drawing into Adnaz, drawing into Tendrils, that ends up being tough. Playing into Days, um, if he's got it, he's got it. But I mean that was Devin's almost only out.
Yeah. So Scott and I will reintroduce ourselves. I'm Michael Corson.
Oh yeah, sorry. Yeah, I'm Scott McCarty.
We're going to be your commentators for this Legacy 1K at TCS Rockets today. Thank you guys for tuning in for the first match. It was Brian Bell on Black Saga Storm and Devin Fong on Ninjas.
Yeah, we'll play by both, and we'll see you guys next round.
Next round. Thanks.